guys, welcome to the Red Tape Podcast. I'm your host, Demerious Nelson. This is brought to you by For the One Media, where we move progressively forward in a conservative way. Boom. Woo, I said that quick. Hey, what's going on, man? I hope all is well out there. One thing I think about today is the rebirth, to be reborn into something, to be something new, to transform yourself. That's something that we will always have to do over our lifetime as we live on this earth. That's one thing we have to make sure we remember. So today I want to talk about the rebirth of Kanye West. I want to look at the auto workers right now, currently out of work. And also, man, the allergies got me down right now. But they can't keep me down. You know why? Because life is too good. Y'all stay tuned. And we're off. All right, guys, what's going on today? Man, hope all is going well. It was a great weekend. I did some old movie watching this weekend. I watched some good Lean On Me, Major Pain. Had to get my Major Pain fix and my Lean On Me. I know you're like, man, why you watch both of those movies? But I'm going to get to those in a little bit. They were amazing. It's always a good weekend to watch those old school movies because they were touching. They just show so much. And we're still dealing with those things today. Major Pain talks about and teaches discipline, how to be hard. And then you got Lean On Me, Mr. Joe Clark didn't play. Hey, he the head ninja in charge. If you've never seen it, you should watch it. Lean On Me got a lot of good things to think about in today's society that still apply, in my opinion. And that's all that matters on here is my opinion, unless somebody say something different. But those are two good movies that I've seen this weekend that I'm going to tell you why I'm talking about them in a minute. But they both deal with the rebirth of an individual. And I think that's the most important part. And they didn't do it alone. So that's what makes me bring up this point about Mr. Kanye West. As we all know, is well documented, all the things that he's done, the things that we may not agree with, that we don't like, some things that he said. Obviously, he's done a lot of outlandish things over his career. But one thing that we cannot deny is his talent. And with his talent, his brassness, and his creative genius for the music world and now fashion, he came off and treated people with the utmost disrespect, from Taylor Swift to other individuals. Just regardless of the situation, it was classless, tasteless, because he's Kanye West. He's Mr. West. But now to see him on this road and to see him record in L.A. and, I still don't know what to take from it. I hope it's all about Jesus because that's what matters to me. But, he said Jesus' name, so that's important as a Christian. What matters is we can talk about God all day. But unless we mention Jesus, we ain't talking about the same people. We ain't on the same page. But you got to talk about Jesus died and rose again for my salvation, for your salvation, for the world. Came back for his precious human being. His precious love. So to see Kanye say this, I haven't watched the sermon, but him doing these Sunday services starting in L.A., Calabasas, people going up there, making a trip just to hear this guy, because you cannot deny his talent for music. Can't deny his gift for creativity. And one thing I do want to remind you while we're talking about this is that everybody has the ability to create. We all create in different ways. That's one thing that was given to us by our Creator. We all have a way to be creative, and it's not in the same way. And that's what makes people unique. And that's what God showed his creativity in creating us all to be different, but diverse in mind, diverse in color, diverse in communities, diverse in language, diverse in culture, diverse in every single thing. Just thought itself. In our creativity, we can take a tree out of the ground and get 1,000 different things with it. We can build houses, we can build chairs, you can do whatever it is, stands, ladders, whatever you need, firewood to stay warm, to cook food. There's many different uses that every single person can take that one thing and make something totally different with it. That's the unique part about it. That's the one thing we cannot forget. I think it's glorious to think about. I think it's something that just uplifting to look at and to view the world through the eyes of the creatives, from the Creator. And we all have that ability to be creative. So speaking of Mr. Kanye West and seeing what he did this weekend and mixing the music and his 10-minute, I guess, sermon, his 10-minute worship service, which that's what I think he does. He's worshiping through music, and that's amazing. And in that, he's moving people. And he's trying to figure it out. I read that Kim Kardashian said, she did some day talk show. He said initially it was for healing him, which that's what we always have to remember first. Healing ourselves first, which we can't heal ourselves, because only God can do that. But we can help in the process. And one thing to be healed, if you're really looking for being healed in the mind and the soul and the physical form, most importantly is the mind, because the physical form, you may not ever be healed in that form. And it might be for a reason. So always ask for the mind to be healed, and that will always be granted to you because it's the one thing that protects all of us. It's the one thing that protects the person itself. If the mind goes, who cares about the physical? So to hear Miss Kardashian say this was initially to heal himself or to find healing, and now he found healing, now he feels he has a new purpose in life. And it's always great when you can have a new purpose. It's always great when you can do the new thing. And it doesn't seem to be a trend or a fad. It is something he seems to be genuine about. And it's drawing people all around the world. Now, for me, selfishly, as a Christian, it's amazing if he's standing for the same thing that I'm standing for. If he believes in Christ the way I believe in Christ, then this is amazing because the world is watching him for his music and his art first. And sometimes you have to do that. They have to see who you are first before they could ever hear about this guy named Jesus, this Lord that you serve. And I think it's amazing to see this gentleman here who now is 42 years old, finding himself again, who we know we can all be lost at times when we lose loved ones, when we just can't seem to grasp the people around us, and you can't trust this person or that person, this person backstabbed me, and then on top of it, you just allowing every single thing in. It can lead to your demise. It can lead to the compromise of the mind. Now, I know everybody that listens to this isn't a Christian, and that's great because they're all of the ones I want to talk to. And also, I want to talk to everybody, Christians too, because we don't have it together. But I like to let the people know who don't believe what I believe and everybody else, every Christian out there, we all know that for the most part, people that live right and understand their purpose in life, understand that they're flawed in life as well. And being flawed, trying to fulfill a purpose is tough. So that's why we all use Christ. That's why we need Christ in our life to make it perfect. So in our pursuit of happiness, in our pursuit of salvation, in our pursuit of other souls and discipling to other people and learning to follow certain leaders and learning to do all that you can to better build the kingdom up, you see things like this happen. It's all necessary. It's all needed because we all working together. And that's what I think is beautiful. Is for me to let other people outside of this belief see why it is important to believe in this. And if they don't ever believe in it, that is fine. It's okay. It's all good. It's all right. It's very good. But it's not very good not to believe, but it's very good when you understand. So like for me, when I want to hear somebody else's perspective on whatever they believe in, I'm going to listen because I respect that person's way of life. I respect how that person was raised. And that's something you have to always remember. And that's something I learned constantly is that I have to respect the individual. I have to respect the individual for what they are, where they come from, because how can you tell somebody else who's been raised a certain way their whole life that what you're saying is right? And I should serve some guy that who knows if he existed? Well, he know he existed. But they go like, who knows if he died? Why should I serve that? And you give them the reason why. But more importantly, you walking that way. And that's one thing I'm saying from Mr. West is that he's walking and not just talking. He seems like he's completely submitted himself to what he believes in. And I think that's great. I think that's important because too much in this life, we don't dedicate ourselves to anything. We don't dedicate ourselves to much. But to see this man dedicate himself to what he now believes even more to be born again is a beautiful thing. You know, just like that relationship that was bad. But then a few years go by and you seem to work it out, y'all both change. Now in this case, Jesus don't change. Jesus is Jesus, but he wait on you to find him so you can be changed and transformed by finding him. On that road to find him, after you find him, just living and trying to reach to that standard is a constant transformation every single day until we depart from this earth. And then we can say, well done. So I like to see this. It's a good sign. It's a good day. It's a great weekend when I see things like this happening in our world because it is needed. We need people like that to stand up. See, if people are unwilling to stand up, then how can you ever have change? My last episode, we talked about change. Without change, the world just be the same. The world just decay, but change is needed. That's why my tagline is always moving progressively forward in a conservative way, because I hold to my values and my Christian beliefs and everything I believe pertaining to the word because of the Lord that I serve. But I understand that just as he was aggressive in going to get that next soul, I need to be aggressive in helping making that possible on earth. So that's why the company is for the one meeting, because I'm serving the one. And I do it to the best of my ability. We do it. We got to do it. We got to get it done. So that's the thing about Mr. Kanye West that I like, guys, today, is that his pursuit, and he has found happiness in helping other people. He know his passion for music. He know his ability, but now he doing it in a humble way. I mean, just think about all the flack he got for talking to Donald Trump, and he called her Uncle Tom and, a jigaboo and everything else. And I mean, I understand people in my community hurt by things like that. It's like, come on, Kanye, not you. But I applaud it and I respect it because that shows once again the power and the power of his position that he's in to be able to speak to the president one-on-one in the world. Listen, now they can mock you all day. Jesus was mocked. But don't be fooled, because everything in life has a purpose to it. So while y'all concerned about what he does, concern yourself with what you're doing. Everybody makes mistakes. He's made plenty. He's in the spotlight. If you were in the spotlight, let's see what you would do. And nobody can speak to that, because people that live a life in lies, most of them are hiding anyway. So you can dig. I done been there. I live life hiding. I can admit that. It's just part of it. But this guy live a life in the public. And he crucified for it, and that's okay, because I'm glad he found his way. I'm glad he's finding something new that's good to help him. Now, there's two things I get from this situation that you should be able to take with you in your life and your walk every single day, just as a human being, not even believing what I believe. One thing is you got to be able to take criticism, and two, you got to be able to bounce back. You have to be able to bounce back. You have to be resilient. You have to be able to take criticism, because people are going to criticize you whatever you do. You can be short, tall, fat, skinny, blonde hair, black hair, your eyes are blue, your eyes are green. Somebody gonna have something to say about it. Your nose too big, your nose too small, your ears too big, your ears too small. You talk with a lisp, you got something. It's something that somebody's gonna find in life that doesn't suit them, and that's fine. Just tell them, hey, respect me for who I am as I respect you. And in those, you gotta try to limit the mistakes that you make, because we do pile on to the problems, onto our own problems with the things and the decisions that we decide to make, just like this man. But he's able to take criticism, but we see what happened. He had a mental breakdown, but he found himself. He was smart enough to step back from his movement, when he was going on tour, actually. He able to step back and get the help that he need, and he had some rants and everything else, but it's okay, because people still listen to him. So now if he's fully focused, I'm excited if you believe what I believe in Jesus Christ, because it's hard to stop a man like that. It's hard to stop somebody that's completely focused, completely submitting themselves to what they believe in. Now, you don't have to believe what I believe in, but believe that if you can handle criticism, you're resilient, and you completely submit yourself to the thing that you believe in, you can accomplish whatever it is you want to accomplish in life. Nothing in life can stop you ever, at all. And just think about that, man. I want y'all to chew on that for a little bit. I mean, I know he's just been a part of a lot of criticism, but I just like to see people bounce back. Because I've been criticized for things. People been around me been criticized for things. But the beautiful part about life is if you live and don't decide to take your own life, and you're able to keep your mind through those things, you have a good support system around you that can help you through those things, and you can find good support systems because you might not find it in friends right now, but they have groups and advocates everywhere that can help you through situations, all kind of programs, until you can find that group of people that fit you. Because there is one out there that will fit you. A positive group now. Don't go out there looking for white supremacist groups or terrorists or things like that. Oh yeah, or gangs, and oh yeah, that fits me, so I'm gonna do whatever they do. No, positive things that add to you, that make you better. Those things only take away from, and only make you hard to the world. Because we shouldn't be hard to the world. We should be loving in the world. And some of us are gonna love in the world. It's gonna cost us our life, but it's okay as long as we have the mind. And people see, man, he was focused on what he done. He was focused in the time that he had on earth. It was perfect for the time that he lived. Let your time on earth be perfect for the time that you're here. Do the right thing while you're here, so you can say, and people around you can say he did the good thing. He left a great legacy, and now you're going to pass that on. And that's why I like to see Mr. Kanye West changing it around to leave a nice legacy behind. And I think it's only the beginning for this man. I think it's only the beginning. So y'all just stand by and watch him work. Now, also, we don't need to be standing by and watching that man work because we got our own job to do. But if he believe what I believe and he putting the work in on behalf of Jesus Christ, it's great. If you're putting it on behalf of making the world a better place, that's great. I just hope it's even deeper than that, and it's because of what he believes now. Because the rebirth, the only true rebirth is through Christ. Just so y'all can know, all right? This is definitely going to be the sermon for today because it's just what it is. Every now and then I have to let y'all know where I stand. Well, I try to let y'all know where I stand every single day, but it is with love that I stand, and I respect every single person and what they believe because you got to start somewhere. And that's what matters in life, that we all start somewhere and we do our best. We do the best we can so one day we can be what we are called to be in life. I say that a lot of times, but you got to believe it. We all have a purpose. And if you don't know what your purpose is yet, hey, give me a ring. Email me, hit me up, and we can talk about it, man. Just talk about life, talk about you, talk about your things that you see yourself, where you see yourself going. Then I'll tell you where I see you going. Because one thing about me that is for certain, that people know around me is that I do have the ability to help people see what they want to be and where they should go in life. So if you want that help seriously, I'm not a prophet, I'm none of that, but I am a person that can see what's best for other people a lot of times, even if I can't see it for myself. I just keep plugging away. But if you need that help, reach out at fortheonemedia@gmail.com and we'll chop it up, man. We'll chop it up and make something happen and then get you right on the right track because that's what I'm here for, man. That's the only reason why I do this, so we can make better people, so we can then have a better households and then eventually have better communities, long-lasting, loving communities that's built on not the utopian thought, but built on processes and built on purposes and living in unity, all right? Because I don't want us all to be the same. We have conflict. There's a reason for conflict because if you have good conflict, you grow from it in those conflicted times, all right? All right, y'all remember that, hey, y'all check out fortheonemedia.com, okay? It's the Red Tape Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to it at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all those streaming platforms out there, all right? Now we're switching the topics up, real quick. All right, look, we're gonna talk about the UAW and the 48,000 members of its union, especially for GM, General Motors specifically, that are currently on strike. I know they talked about it last night. Well, really Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. that they were announcing that they were going to go on strike, and then they actually went on strike yesterday. Okay, so right at Monday morning at 12, or they say balls. Okay. That means 000. So at that time, they knew. That's a military phrase, okay? Y'all don't be offended out there. And if you are, I'm sorry. Whatever. But let's think about that time and for these individuals who have families and they have they have families, they have careers, they like where they work at, they invested in General Motors, they've been there for a long time, and they want to keep their rights to healthcare benefits because currently they don't pay anything on healthcare. And I get it, man. You want to fight for that because even for the federal government, man, like Blue Cross Blue Shield is for, I think it's about $600 almost especially if you have a family. If you're single, it's a little cheaper, probably about $2 something. And that matters, man. Healthcare is everything. You see the fight for healthcare right now, and everybody has something to say about it. Everybody's has an opinion on it, and everybody wants Medicare for all or healthcare for all, and everybody should want healthcare for all because it is necessary in this world to be seen, especially when we have the advancements that we have in America. It's important. So I get the fight, I get the struggle, I get the battle that the union workers for the UAW, the employees for General Motors, looking to keep that benefit, especially if General Motors making this profit hand over fist. I think they said over $300 million each day. Each day is made at General Motors. Man, that's quite a profit. So I just hope General Motors and the people at the top just remember that the bailout that they got. Because honestly, I don't believe in any company that wants a bailout. I think my personal opinion is you let them fall. That's a part of capitalism. Fall and rebuild on your own. Let them fail. But since you had the help from our dollars, from the tax dollars, then you make sure you help the individuals that's there working with you. That's what I believe in. Walmart didn't ask for a bailout, and see, Walmart hasn't been in trouble either. But Ford did it their way. They didn't get a bailout, which I think is amazing. It speaks to a lot for their company. But since General Motors had a bailout, I think you need to help and raise these people money who haven't had raises in a while, raise the profit sharing, add some. I think it'd be important to add some good buyouts, $500,000 or 250 and up buyouts for people who work there, have different tiers. I think that'll be important. I think it's important for us who are out here who aren't a part of the UAW but may know people affected by it, we got to be able to and be at the ready to support these individuals because, like I said, like I've spoken on IG, Instagram, and social media, look, man, people supported me through those times, through the shutdown of the government back in the beginning of the year, the end of last year. I think it's very important. I think we all need that support, and especially for them. I understand that they had the right, they made the decision to strike, but I think it's a good decision. I think everything needs to be shaken up. Like I spoke about just a few minutes ago, conflict. Conflict is necessary to have a better outcome, a better change. And one thing you don't want to do when you work at a company is lose your benefits. Now, if the thing don't work out, I know these people used to making all this good money. If it don't work out, the great part about America, the great part about capitalism, the beautiful part about freedom is the fact that you can go out and go find something else to do if it doesn't work out for you. So in this case, in this situation, hopefully they do right on both sides. People are not greedy and understand that they need each other. Because General Motors can't do it out of 48,000. And the 48,000 definitely want to keep the company rolling because they believe in it. Any American product, especially here in Texas, man, you got Arlington, Texas, that make all the SUVs, the big SUVs, the big body, the number one plant for General Motors. They do not want to see that plant shut down for long. And I get it because it's the money maker. It makes a lot of money. And y'all see how much those Suburbans, Escalades, Tahoes, the Denali's all cost? They turn a profit. So let's make sure that General Motors and the UAW do right. The leads in the UAW and General Motors do right in the negotiations so they don't negotiate anything else away. All right? 'Cause I think it's necessary. Healthcare is everything. If you can add some benefits to that, that's great. If you can get them about a 3 to 4% raise, that's amazing. I believe all companies, if you really want to keep great employees and keep them happy, you have to be able to raise or promote people. That's just a part of economics, especially when you're running a business. The business, the model is to turn a profit. The bottom line does matter. But also in turning a profit, you have to have an ability for people to advance in different ways in the workplace. Because if you're just stagnant and you've been working for the same amount of money for the last 10, 15, 20 years, you're going to give them the least amount of work and take the same amount of money. And now you're not getting that quality product that you could be getting because you got to have incentives for people. People are grown. People have families. People have money. So, people need money. People have bills. And also people do want to be happy at work. I know some people don't think that it's about happiness being at work, but it is. You can look at any job. You can look at most people. If the job isn't supporting their happiness a lot of times, especially now in this age, people are leaving the jobs. Like they'll go work somewhere else for less to not be tormented or talked about or bullied by the boss or, the people that's leading not treating you as equal as a human being. People leave quick. That's TSA. TSA turnover rate is high. Why? Well, it's the entry point for a lot of people to feel like they get in the government, but the other piece about it is the leadership. leadership sucks in a lot of those places, and knowing that you have high turnover rates. If they had a better way of promoting, I can only speak to DFW. I can't say other airports may be doing great, but for DFW alone, you need people who are willing to lead, and also in leading, they helping growth. They promoting growth, because nobody wants to be stagnant in life. It's like if I'm gonna be stagnant, I might as well just be dead. So that's why I'm always reinventing and recreating myself. Now, what I have to say to employees in any place is to always, nothing's ever guaranteed, as y'all know. My dad always taught me that. Nothing's ever guaranteed. Always be prepared for the worst. Now, I don't live my life for the worst, but I do live my life with caution and understanding, and I have to use my vision. And it's important to understand politics and economics and how your company works and what's the foreseeable future for that product that they currently are producing, especially with the automation industry coming around and how that's starting to grow, and all these robots and things that they're creating. Does it put you out of a job? What can you do to keep yourself marketable? Just like the company does. The company does everything they can do to keep themselves marketable for the next, not projecting for the next 5 years, but 10, 20, 30 years down the line. What will we have to change? And that's what we have to do as human beings. We got to do that with ourselves. How can I better myself each and every day? Because this job might not be here. What can I do to better myself at home? Because my family might not be here. My wife might get tired. My husband may get tired. Your kid's going to get tired. What can we do to keep this thing not just floating, but thriving? And that's what we got to do in life. We got to continue to thrive. So that's why this is about the rebirth. So speaking of the rebirth is why I brought up Lean On Me and Major Pain earlier. Because in Lean On Me, you had a school that was down in the dumps. Things wasn't getting done. The Mr. Joe Clark, who was the principal, who was Morgan Freeman in this movie, had the job, as radical as he was, he took on the job to turn the school around, because if the school wasn't turned around, for y'all that don't know, the school would have been taken over by the state. And the city don't want that, right? I mean, it's about numbers, got to know your politics, know your economics, you got to know these things, guys. So anyway, in the movie, everything seemed to work out. It was down in the dumps, but they had a rebirth. And because of him, he took that hard line. He took a stand. At first, it was too hard. Sometimes you got to know your people, guys. You got to know your people. And the stance was too hard. But in the end, it worked out. I don't want to spoil the movie for those who haven't seen it, but it's an amazing movie to watch. But he made the turnaround happen. He took on the problems of the school for himself to make the difference for the people. Now, the people couldn't see it at first. And that's one thing. When you're visionary, people around you cannot see what you see. But also don't negate or neglect their vision for how they see you. Because as a leader, you're going to need to be sharpened. You got to have people sharp enough around you, willing enough to take stance against you. Because sometimes we can just blow right through people, blow right by people with our own opinions and our vision for the company. So any great leader always surround themselves with other great leaders. And some of those leaders need to be greater than you. And they might not even know it at the moment, but know that one day they need to take over. Just think about George Washington having both Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson working with him. That's amazing to establish a country. And anytime you're trying to reestablish something, you need to have people smarter than you around you. Don't be the smartest person in the room or have the grandest ideas, because it won't grow. So you need people around you who all have great ideas, but understand and respect who authority and understand the position of every person in the room. And that's what you see in Lean On Me, and understand that situation. Now, fast forward to Major Pain, I like his hard line, and it's a funny movie, it's a comedy, but his ability to uplift the community was great. Both men uplift the community in different ways. And I'm only saying that to say there are different ways to raise the community up. There's different talents, just like the tree I described in the beginning, that we all can get something different out of it if we use our creativity. You see it with Kanye West. You see me as I try to do this each and every day, to have creative ways to touch you, to help you think for yourself, because that's all I want to do. I can't change a single person. I'm not Christ. I'm not God. But all I can do is try to influence you and give you some thought, motivate you in a way that'll help you turn around the situation that you're in. But all three men, and most importantly Christ, he turned everything around so he can allow people like Kanye West to be reborn, like Mr. Joe Clark to be reborn, like Major Pain to be reborn. It's nothing. It's good to be you always need an antagonist in your life, but because when you're the protagonist, you're trying to make things happen. When you become the hero, it all happens and it all matters for a reason, okay? So when you're dealing with being antagonized by people or situations, or you brought it on yourself, the grief on yourself, just remember, it's all for a reason, all right? You're creative, you're grand, you're smart, you're intelligent, and the dumbest people in the world don't pick up books. So pick up a book. Anybody that say, I don't like to read, count them as idiots, okay? So we need to get on board, start reading, start understanding our communities, and know how to change the things around us, all right? Hey, this is the Red Tape Podcast. I'm your host, Demerious Nelson. This is brought to you by 4-1 Media, where we move progressively forward in a conservative way. Y'all keep checking on me, guys, because we're going to keep booming around here, all right? Y'all have a great day. Make sure y'all check us out, like it, and subscribe it, all right? Peace.